Welcome to today's video. It's going to be a little bit different kind of video because I saw my friend Ellie on Instagram. Make sure you follow her. She does amazing, beautiful eyeshadow looks and content. Highly recommend you check her out. But she bought the Leon shade from Oden's Eye. This shadow was the only one I believe that sold out. And she bought it right after they restocked it, so that means that they made a new batch. So technically this would have been a new batch of this shadow. Now overall, I saw a lot of people having issues with the single eyeshadows. There's definitely a lot of discrepancies between the formulations. Some of them are a little bit sticky, some of them are squishy, some of them are extremely squishy. Like one of mine, actually, the shade Angela. I talked about this in my video. I do have a whole dedicated video swatching all of the single shadows from that collection, live swatching them, talking about how they feel, and then also talking about some of my initial feelings on them. So now I've had them obviously for some time, but this shadow in particular, you can kind of see from just the pan. This one is like literally just squishy, almost gel-like. It was sitting in the empty palette that you can get where you can store these shadows from Oden's Eye. And then I noticed when I was picking out some shadows for a comparison video that it looked like it literally was wet. There was a puddle in there, and I'll put up a video here, and I will also show you a video, and I will be quiet for a second so you can hear it, how sticky it is when I touch it. And because it is so sticky, also, not much product gets picked up. I have hooded oily lids, and I'm not really sure if anyone with even non-oily lids could wear this without any creasing, but let me just put up that sticky video first. So in my original video, I mentioned that it seems like they're having some sort of quality control issues, unless they did intend some of the shades to be more sticky, some more waxy, some more like a traditional shimmer. I did receive the original single eyeshadows in PR from Oden's Eye, but these two shadows I did just purchase myself. So the other shade that was a bit squishy was Ingrid, which I was definitely disappointed because this shade is so beautiful. Like the color itself, I absolutely love it. And this is also a multi-chrome. Angela's multi-chrome. So these are the more expensive single shadows. And then Leon. So in comparison to these other three shades, it's the least squishy. That being said, it does have a little bit of squish to it. So I was very intrigued when Ellie said that her Leon shadow that she just had bought was not squishy and felt like regular dry kind of shimmer shadow. And I've heard numerous people mention that their Leon shadow that they bought upon the initial launch was squishy and does not wear or like disintegrates on their lid. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you and comparing the new shadow from the restock compared to the original shadow. So here's Ingrid, and you can kind of see as I'm pushing down, do you see like it's moving around? It's kind of like Play-Doh, basically, like clay. There we go. Push it to the side, you can really see, and I can start to feel my finger being a little bit sticky, and here's what that looks like. But yeah, I can't wear the shadow over my lid, which is such a shame because it's such a beautiful color, but this will absolutely crease on me within probably half an hour. And here's the new shade, so I'm pushing down about the same pressure. I can definitely feel it moving a little bit. It doesn't feel like it's moving as much. Nope, there we go. It's actually moving about the same as the other one. So I'm going to say that these two are, nothing has been done between these two. And it is very possible, obviously I don't know, that these are still part of the same batch because this one has not sold out as far as I know. So I am not going to be putting Ingrid on a lid. I'm only going to be demoing Leon because I already can tell that there's a difference between the formulation. Again, I don't know if it's the formulation, the way it's pressed, etc. I do really wish I bought another Angela shade. I feel like this one was such a problem that I really wish I had also bought a new one, but it seems like there might not have been a change in all of the shadows. So here is my Leon, and I'm not sure if it's gonna be able to capture it, but but from swatching this, I could see like the black kind of peeking through. I feel like you can kind of see it when I angle it down, this black right here. Also, they have this as priced as a multi-chrome, and they claim this to be a multi-chrome that shifts from red to black. To me, this is not a multi-chrome by any means. Is it pretty? Yes, it's very beautiful, sure. So this one, definitely a little bit of moving. Maybe a little bit less than Ingrid, but definitely you see how like I'm able to push it around. I'm able to push things down. And then if I really push down, I can get my fingerprint in there. You can kind of see it right here. And then here's what that looks like here. So I'm just going to swatch it. I mean, I don't think there's going to be a shade difference by any means, but it doesn't hurt to swatch compare. Okay, so I just accidentally dug my nail into this, trying to get it out of this little thing because it was really hard to open. So ignore that. You can still see the texture on some of it. And let me just push down on it. I definitely don't feel the same amount of squish. It has a lot less give. Like when I first swatched it, when it was brand new, I could just tell that it felt different. It just didn't have very much of a squish. Like I have to really push down. So I do feel like it just feels firmer and like there's less oils in it. It feels more dry to the touch. And then here's what that one is. So I'm just gonna swatch it again on the back of my hand. Obviously it's gonna be the same. So they do look obviously exactly the same. So I'm gonna be using the Cinch Beauty EO4 brush. And I'm just going and swiping on the pan, and this is my original shade. I feel like I picked up a lot, so hopefully I won't get really much fallout. So I'm just trying to put this down, and I feel like the other day when I used it to do a wear test, I could just tell like the pigment was separating from the black base. It was really weird. I really feel like this is just not best applied with a brush, so I'm gonna go in with my pinky, and I'm just gonna swipe it on with my finger. I do just have like a matte in the crease and a regular eyeshadow primer, no tacky primer, but I'm not sure if you could see the way like out here it's separating from the base of that shadow, and now I have shimmer shadow all over my face. Here's the new version of that shadow just to see if the application will be any different. More or less the same. Taking a bit to spread it out. I'm just gonna go in with my finger. Here's what that looks like on the finger. And I'm just kind of swiping it on. And that looks more or less the same. I'm gonna go in with just a little bit more. I feel like this looks better applied, and it's still doing the separation a little bit, but it was a different experience applying it, a very slightly different experience. I feel like my experience the other day was way more different than today's experience. Now I did a wear test these the other day with no glitter primer, not wetting the brush or anything. I used the Too Faced Insurance Primer or something like that, and I did set it, and then I used the same matte in the crease as I did today, which is from the Artist Couture Supreme Mauves palette. I used this one today, I used this one the other day, and I just had that in the crease, and I put the shimmer on my lid. I did notice some creasing happening with the old shadow while not really much was happening with the new shadow, so that's why it really leads me to believe there has been some sort of a refinement made to the shadow. Now I'm not 100% sure, so let me know if you ordered Leon shadow from the restock, if you feel like yours is squishy. Is it a little bit squishy, very squishy? Is it not squishy at all? How does it wear on you? I would love to hear. This was just a little bit of an experimentation video. I'm not really sure if there's necessarily a conclusion to be made here, maybe just slight, but again, it's hard to know without actually being behind the scenes at Oden's Eye. I do want to mention that I have heard from numerous people that they have emailed them about these single shadows, having issues with the single shadows, and not have heard back after sending multiple emails, and I really hope that Oden's Eye just improves their customer service, because that is just not okay. I think they need to address the concerns. If they do decide to refine the formula or the pressing or whatever it is to the single shadows, I would hope that they would announce it or mention it, because I don't think it's fair to just do a new batch and not say anything about it being better than the original batch. It's just kind of like they don't want to admit that their first shimmer shadows had either a not so great formula or that they didn't have good quality controls. So hopefully you found this video at least somewhat interesting, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time.